one for just a fucking. I would love to get like a 6-shooter, not like a fucking automatic.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah.
I got a guy. That's why. That's why I got mine illegally. It was a lot easier.
You can't get anything. A 6-shooter, fucking automatic.
Well, you want to know how easy it is to get a gun in Texas?
Yeah.
Also, this guy purchased 2,000 rounds of ammo with no issues. Another guy says you buy ammo in bulk because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper that way, yeah.
So they make it where, enticing to get a lot of ammo.
They entice with their ammo prices.
Don in Texas, a state that knows how to kill fucking convicts. I like that. I like that about you guys. What's up?
All right, this is what you do. You go, they've got them pretty much every weekend anywhere in Texas, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. You go to a gun show, you have a wad of cash, and I'm sure, Ant, that wouldn't be a problem for you.
Tell me about it.
And basically, you've got guys that they'll have their whatever rifle, anywhere from a shotgun down to a pistol, and they'll just walk around with a sign, hey, $300 cash. You pay the guy $300 cash, you walk out with the firearm. No questions, no paperwork, no nothing. Now, there's the other way to do it where, what they call with papers, is you walk up to one of the booths, you sit down, takes maybe 5 minutes, fill out all the federal paperwork. As soon as you're approved, you sit there and you pay whatever it is. Hell, I got a 9mm, it's one of them off-brand bullshit ones. A 9mm for $275. I gave the guy the money within, say, 10 minutes. I walked out of there with a pistol and about 500 rounds.
All right, I got a question. I've been to Dallas, is what I know about Texas, a few times. I was amazed at how many guns I saw. I couldn't believe it. What kind of handgun violence do you guys have in, let's say, Dallas compared to other cities in America? Or do you know this, Ant?
I know that. Oh, yes, sir?
No. Go ahead, Ant. You're the expert.
No, I'm not an expert on Texas and their fucking laws. But from what I know and what I have read, I've always heard that the more lenient the gun laws, the less gun violence there is. That seems to be what happens across the country.
Right.
Because I don't hear about a lot of handgun violence in Texas like we hear about in Chicago, obviously. Chicago seems to be the big one.
A lot of crimes are thwarted in Texas because of...
But, man, we went to a club
or
a radio station event, and the girls were all talking about how they left their handguns in the glove compartment to come into the bar. It was just it was amazing how many guns were down there.
Yeah. And this is also why people in big cities and on the coastal liberal areas of New York or L.A. and places that do have very strict gun control, they are under this impression that the whole country is for gun control and for the restrictions that are in place in a lot of these big cities, when the fact of the matter is, when you look at the Midwest and the vast part of the United States in between the coasts, a lot of people do own guns. There aren't many restrictions on them, and they want to keep it that way.
Right. Okay, here's more Bloomberg.
Someday there will be a shooting which you would think would trigger in the American psyche this I'm not going to take it anymore attitude. Maybe if you...
I thought it would be this.
Wait a second. Maybe if you shot a president, but Ronald Reagan, when he got shot, didn't trigger it. Maybe if you shot a congresswoman, no. Maybe if you shot a bunch of students on campus, no.
Boy.
Maybe if you shot a bunch of people in a movie theater. I don't know what it is. We obviously haven't gotten there yet. But this cannot continue. And these people that want to have more guns really are they don't understand what they're asking about. You are 22 times as likely to shoot a family member than somebody trying to break into your house if you have a gun.
You have, I just hate these guys talking. You have armed security. So for you, it's easy to sit there.
Yep.
I fucking hate these guys that just don't acknowledge that they are protected, so they're making this statement from a much different place than the way anybody else thinks about it.
Mike Bloomberg does not need to carry a weapon because he has people around him constantly that carry weapons that aren't even available to the general public.
Yeah, he should start by saying, follow my lead. I now have no armed security.
Right, exactly. All of my guys have maces.
Right.
I'm depending on the exact protection that you will receive when you don't have a gun. That's what I'm going to do. How about that, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mrs. Mayor.
Right.
Mr. Mayor.
people want to talk about this issue. I want to know if they're for or against so we can balance it out. Just get some different voices on the radio there, Sam. How do I know?
Yeah, let's get it from Connor.
How do I know?
Connor didn't mention it on the screen.
Connor.
No, he didn't.
Oh, jeez.
Connor.
Maybe
it's a 2-trip screening. He's got to rescreen him again.
Eric just said he's going to send him back.
No. I told him to go back. I'm like, get their angles. Just saying I want to talk
just
about
so we
gun
can get
control
some
isn't
different
enough.
voices on. I liked when we do that.
Is that what the screen set just says? I just want to talk about gun
Yeah,
control?
which makes it tough because especially if it's points we've made a lot.
It's like, why bother screening the calls?
In the meantime, here's more Bloomberg.
Where you have effective enforcement against people carrying illegal weapons on the streets, guns in particular, you will see gun crime come down.
Yes. No!
That is just an undeniable, inarguable.
You motherfucker.
He's a liar.
How about Detroit and Chicago? 2 prime examples. Turn on that Chicago fucking scanner. When you get the scanner app any night and turn on the Chicago police scanner, you will hear nothing but gunfire and cops chasing around, the sounds of bullets flying. All illegal, all fucking people breaking the law. And they have complete restriction on firearms.
How about this? Let's find, if we can, the top 5 most violent gun cities in this country.
Yeah.
For illegal gun violence, and the best 5,
right,
with the least amount.
Very good.
And let's find what the gun laws are in each. Maybe they're comparable, and let's see if it means anything racially.
Yep.
Or if it means anything, if it's simply the gun laws, or if it's simply, that the citizens can protect themselves. I know population will have something to do with that too, but that's why I'm saying cities.
Well. He's fucking lying there.
Well, let's go back to that
fucking lie. Gun control does not fucking stop crime. It never has.
It's not that easy,
It's
Piers.
statistically proven that it does not deter the criminal element. Stop it.
It's way more complicated than that.
Yes.
You're on CNN, you dope.
Against people carrying illegal weapons on the streets, guns in particular, you will see gun crime come.
Hold it. Illegal. He says illegal guns. Now, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? People buying guns legally, owning guns legally, as per their constitutional right. What is Piers talking about? Oh, when there's a lot of illegal guns that are taken off the streets, crime goes down. All right, I'll even buy that. How do you get the illegal guns off the street? Oh, don't try the stop and frisk.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to
frisk
anybody.
What? And this is what drives me crazy, because they say good police work. But everything
they don't
you
allow
do that's
the
good
police to do good police work. That's why this
them.
country's insane.
Yeah, they don't allow it.
Well, they don't even allow the police guys to do their good police work anymore.
Polite police work doesn't work.
And hopefully they'll luck out and find something with their politeness.
Polite police work that doesn't offend or upset anybody.
It's just so dumb.
I believe in the Bronx now. The Bronx, whatever the head muckety-muck up there is, whatever they call him.
I heard that on the way in, too.
He's starting to say maybe we have to rethink the restrictions on stop and frisk after that kid got shot in the playground. So he's starting to go like, maybe we want the cops fucking patting down some of these thugs.
Good for that guy.
Yeah. Who's against that? Like in Chicago, where it's a gang and drug area. I'm not saying you should stand outside the college and frisk people, but if you see a bunch of guys, you know what thugs look like.
Yep.
And if you're wrong once in a while, you're wrong.
Oh, well.
You know what rednecks look like. You know what mob guys look like. You're not always right, but you know.
And by the way, when they talk about some crazy white guy like this and red flags and they should have seen it, what they're talking about in essence is profiling.
Absolutely.
They're talking about, all right, this guy fits this profile of someone that might unload in a movie theater.
Right.
We should see this. We should use this information to maybe prevent it in the future. Why can't you do the same thing for gang members or people that have illegal guns and they're shooting other people? Why can't you profile and say, that guy fits the bill? He's throwing up a red flag. Let me check that out and see if I'm right about this.
Because the liberals would argue that the white guy being profiled is being profiled behaviorally, whereas the black guy is being profiled purely on appearance.
Oh, okay.
Down. Yes. That is just an undeniable, inarguable fact.
Yeah, get guns out of there when they can't use the guns.
If the political leaders in this country continue to say nothing about this, gun sales increase at the rate they've been increasing, and we see more and more of these incidents, people will say, Mayor Bloomberg, it's time you ran for the highest office. Time you took charge.
Nobody will say that.
I've got a job, thank you. I've got another 528 days, I think it is, left in my job. I enjoy it every day. I'm not
you'll have a vacancy.
I'm not going to be president of the United States. I'm not going to run for the presidency. But I am an American, and I care very much about our country.
And you care about
children,
everything except the fucking rules in place to prevent fucking 3 terms.
Yeah.
It's funny how he's really big on regulations and rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, but when it comes to getting out after 2 terms, he doesn't seem to give a fuck about that.
Then he has no problem breaking the
He
the
did
rules.
that. He got another term without any fucking votes, without people saying that if they wanted. And then a vote was put to the to anyone else having that many terms, and people voted no. So obviously they didn't want him for 3 terms. This guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I am an American, and I care very much about our country. I have children, and I care about them. Presumably they will someday give me grandchildren, and I care about them. I have a responsibility, just like you do, just like everybody does in this country, to try to address the key issues. You and I can't solve the problem, but we can demand that those elected officials who are or want to be in charge have a solution to the problem.
Charles in charge.
Good one, Chip.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
And then finally this.
This is not a theoretical thing. These are human lives. We have children sitting on the steps of their house, and a bullet whizzes by.
There was a 4-year-old I read in the Bronx.
An illegal bullet from an illegal gun.
People say, well, the time is not now to address this. We have to grieve. Well, it's been 18 months since Gabby Giffens. It's been 5 years since Virginia Tech. It's been a dozen years since Columbine. What's the right time frame? Now's maybe exactly the time to do it. And I think the president very eloquently expressed the country's grief, and that is his job, and he did it very well, and people appreciated, I'm sure, him coming and trying to offer comfort. But that's only half the job. The president, no matter who the next president is, also has to have a solution to this problem. It is prevention of the next disaster that we have to focus on. There's nothing we can do about what happened in the past.
Well, all right. Well, hey, do whatever you got to do to get illegal guns that are shooting children on their stoops in front of their house. Do what you got to do without infringing on other people's rights. How about that? Enforce your laws. Do it that way. They're already out there. There's plenty of laws against it. I think there's a law against murder, right?
Meat is murder.
Let's say hi to Robert in New Jersey. Robert?
Yeah, you're turning into the next Ted Nugent.
Do you prefer Robert or Bobbykins?
I like Bobbykins myself. That's what my mom calls me.
I know. He is like Nugent,
What
right?
do you got, Robert?
Well, every place needs to be like New Jersey, New York. It needs to be more difficult to acquire these things. I came from Pennsylvania. It was ridiculously easy. I walked in, walked out with an AR. It would take me only overnight for a background check to get a 5.7.
All right.
In New Jersey, it's much more difficult.
Ohio's very easy, too.
All right, so
is that a good place to start at?
They did a background check on you? Yeah, see?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they have to do.
How about being denied the ability to buy a handgun illegally in the state of New Jersey or New York?
But on what basis would you?
Exactly. On a whim. How about on a whim that somebody decides that they don't want you to have one?
Right.
Well, then I'll buy a samurai sword, you know?
All right.
You want to protect your family, but I don't necessarily need to have an FN-57.
Yeah, that's great.
Buy a shotgun.
Right.
Cool. So somebody comes into your house and you hit him with a samurai sword from fucking across the room.
Yeah.
Or a shotgun with a slug in it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. How about when you're out on the street? You're going to tote that shotgun around with you?
Hey, you know, and on that, if anybody was in that theater in Aurora, they wouldn't have been able to get a shot at that guy. He's covered head to toe in body armor. There's smoke, tear gas.
Hypothetical. I'm not going to get into hypothetical situations there, but let me tell you something, and I've said this before. The worst possible scenario is one gunman in a closed theater.